Hello, this is Tony Chavez coming to you with another edition of the Pro2Pro podcast on behalf of the Southern California PGA. And today I am honored and so happy to have Mr. Brent Smith, PGA. Hello, Pro. How are you?
How you doing, boss? Good to hear. Good to see you.
How long have you been a PGA member? Where? Tell us about your roots, how you got started in the business.
So I got started in the business in 1985. Really great guy that used to be the head pro at Simi Hills Golf Course in Simi Valley, California, Roger Rockefeller, hired me to work carts and range. And about a year into it, I kind of realized there's not even point going to school. This is what I want to do. I want to be like Roger. So I moved out here, went to college at College of the Desert, never graduated, but worked at various clubs out here. Put in about 11 years at the Aviara Golf Club in Carlsbad. Worked for some great guys there that just taught me a ton. Bill Christ, Jim Bellington, Rennie Brown. I left there and went to South Dakota for 7 years. And then just a prince of a human being, a guy I still call one of my mentors, Dennis Foster, who you know. Dennis hired me to take his position here and work under him for a year at Ivy Ranch in Thousand Palms, California in 2011. So I worked for Dennis for a year and then was here till 2019 and then had a few different jobs over the last 5 years, but now I'm back here and loving life.
I do want to talk about your playing ability because every time I look at the standings, I see that your name comes about. So tell us a little bit about that.
Played a little bit. I played a lot growing up. Been very fortunate to be around some really good players. Just really worked hard at my game when I was younger. Never really played all that much, like mini tours, but I'd always play about 4 or 5 events a year. Always try to qualify for the U.S. Open. Always try to, play Cal State, Long Beach, every year. Yeah. So, you get around those players, you only get better. You lose a lot of money, but you get better. And then when I went back to South Dakota, I had a really good spurt. Really learned a lot about how to play the ball and win, and learned how to play a little bit more and not be scared about being 3-4 under and, knowing that you got to take it to 6 or 7.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that plays into the psyche of the player, right? I mean, and this is something that I currently working on myself and with my students, is that you start your round, you part out a couple of holes, you might make 1 or 2 putts, and now you're on hole 6 or 7, and you find yourself 2 under, and then all the inner demons come up and say, oh boy, you're in track for career. You don't mess this up. Hole number 8 is coming up and has always got your number. I mean, how do you manage that? How do you communicate that to your students?
So, yeah, I try and, it's become harder over the years because now in the last few years, I've just seen nothing but bad shots mostly. But, when I was playing better, the easy way to go about it was I basically tried not to think about anything more than the hole in front of me. I would try and start from the green and work my way backwards. How do I set this up so I can make the easiest par? And I just tried to play it hole by hole, in those situations. I think when you get to the point where you're thinking 3-4 holes out, you have to kind of factor that into your strategy, but your total focus needs to be on the shot at hand and the task that you're trying to complete.
And that comes in really handy, because the profession that we are, the golf professional, is not many of us see an overnight success, right? It's a daily grind. I know that has happened to me many times, where we start trying to get ahead of ourselves and was, in other words. So how would you apply that in our profession?
It's going to be like teaching. I'm going to tell you something, and there's going to be 100,000 different ways to go about this, but something that's always worked for me is, trying to apply it to the job basis would be to always listen to your customer. And if you listen to your customer and try and find a way that if you hear a consensus by your customer, you need to kind of follow the customer's leads. You kind of have a plan, you know how you feel and how you operate. And then trying to meet the needs of the customer. And that's really what we got to do, is find out how do we maximize profit while meeting the needs of the customer.
And that is that is another, wisdom bomb you just threw out there, because how many operators or managers would come around and ask, or owners, and would come, well, what KPIs are you using? What kind of analytics are you looking? I listen to my people, I play golf with my people, I teach my people, I check them in every day, I sell them something, I make them a cocktail, and on top of that, I have to have the range picked and the cards charged and clean, because tomorrow I get to do it all over again. How about
And
KPIs? How you doing?
yeah, there's my KPI, the 75 people I just helped in the last 2 hours. I'm so ecstatic. I get up at 4 a.m. I'm working on emails and, hey, what are we going to do next? And here it is, it's September. I'm getting ready to play the section champ next week. And, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, if I shoot 78 and miss, hey, I'll be back at work on Wednesday. That ain't going to be all bad.
So you're balancing the daily grind, but you're having fun. You're getting to play chapter tournaments and section tournaments. You interact with your members on and off the course. I mean, Smitty, you're the total package. But pros, we are full of dreams and hopes. What are the next 3 years looking for you? What are you working on?
So in April, I started an LLC called Three Deep Golf. And the LLC was formed in the mind that I was going to start my own golf school. So the LLC was formed in mind with, you have a golf school, you're going to sell some retail out of it, try and find a spot where you can kind of mix in retail with it. Those are the two parts of the business I really love. And, at a smaller place, I love the operations aspect. So that was formed in April. We get to the end of May, and all of a sudden, Dennis Foster calls me and he says, "Hey, would you have any interest in coming back to Ivy?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, let's talk about it." So I sat down with the president of the HOA here, Greg Falk, who's turned out to be just an awesome guy, and Buddy Dorr, who's one of our members here, who's our golf liaison, and we kind of put together a framework, and with the whole thing took about a week.
And now you're management.
Yeah, so I manage the golf course for him.
If you had the superpower to go back in time and go talk to the young version of Brent Smith, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to that young Brent Smith?
Wow, I don't know if I can get that many mulligans. I was very fortunate to be around some people when I was high school, early college. I would really go back and I would have learned how to shut my mouth.
Okay.
I was always one that, would tell somebody how much I knew, even though I knew about 1%. We all learn this as we get older. And, because I was around some really, really smart people. And it would have been an incredible opportunity if I wasn't such a blockhead. I really had the opportunity to learn from some great people, and I didn't do it. So I wish I really would have went back and said, "Hey, just talk, let me listen."
And that is just such an amazing piece of wisdom, though. Be a better listener. Know your audience and contribute just by listening. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I appreciate you having me on, Tony. It's always, to hang around with you. It's always an honor.
With that, this is a wrap. We had the opportunity to spend a few minutes with Brent Smith, PGA Pro at Ivy Ranch, and he has such a unique and lovely facility there, and centrally located in the middle of the Palm Springs area, Coachella Valley, right in Townsend Palms. With that, on behalf of the members and associates of the Southern California PGA, we'd like to thank you. Thank you for your time, and really looking forward to carry on the message, spread your message onto others. With that, this is Tony Chavez signing off.